If there's something that you're very excited about or something that you're looking forward to experiencing in your life, this Aries full moon shows actually having a pretty good time or a pretty nice ending or celebration around something. So even though we've had a lot of like serious bullshit eclipse astrology and it's been difficult, this actually looks like a pretty nice full moon and a time of entertainment or celebration or literally enjoying something. So if you're excited to dive into what exactly this full moon in Aries means for you, everyone, and generally in the world, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Maren. I do videos on astrology and also have other stuff. I have music, I'm in some movies. I think those might be out. No, they wouldn't be out. That things take a while. But I do other stuff, and if you want a reading from me, I also offer those below. During this time, I might not be offering them because I'm currently, when this comes out, going to be out of the country filming a movie, but I'll be back at the end of the year, so check back to get a reading from me in like November, December. And also, I now have Maren AI, so if you want to chat with an AI version of me to talk about your chart, you can find that down below. And sorry for the long intro, a lot of things, but let's get into it. So this full moon in Aries is happening on August 6th, 2025 at 8:48 p.m. Pacific time. So it's the night of October 6th, pretty much all around the world, or early morning of the 7th, further into Asia. And full moons are always endings or high points. So with the sun opposite the moon here, this is an energetic release. And the moon is in the second decan of Aries, which is a Mars-ruled sign. So with the moon in Aries, there is a celebratory, adventurous, entertainment quality to this. That's why I'm using rather positive words, because the moon in Aries, generally in a full moon like this, that doesn't really have direct aspects to malefics, as I'll get into, it's just going to be a celebration, maybe even an impulsive kind of event where you feel like going off and doing something fun. So at the end of the video, we're obviously going to get into what this means for your rising sign, but in its most kind of like basic form, this is a full moon ruled by Mars. Mars can be frustrating, or it can be kind of like action-oriented and show where you're being assertive. So this honestly just looks like having fun and going out and doing something you wanted to do for the most part. So like I mentioned, this is in the middle decan of Aries, and that decan is associated with the Three of Wands tarot card, and it's co-ruled by the sun. Mars rules Aries, but these decans have a little bit of like texture from other planets, basically. So there's a brightness and a leadership quality to this part of Aries. This is very specifically about virtue and about like demonstrating one's leadership. So there's an attention quality to this. Whatever's happening under this full moon is warranting attention and maybe celebration. And the sun is in Libra, in the second decan of Libra. So Libra as a whole is ruled by Venus. It is a sign concerned with harmony and minimizing conflict and finding balance or cohesion. But this part of the sky, the second decan of Libra, is associated with the Three of Swords tarot card. And I have this tattooed on me, so every time of year that this comes around, I usually show it, but I don't feel like it right now because I'm in kind of like a corset and I don't want to take it off or anything. So this tarot card in this part of Libra is actually known as sorrow. It is demonstrative of the breaking of an agreement or betrayal or, breaking a promise of some kind. So this is one of the most like directly, blatantly negative tarot cards and maybe parts of the sky. But I don't view this as an inherently bad full moon because of it. It just shows that our awareness is about the breaking of a plan or the breaking of something that was promised. But that breaking and that diverting from the plan is celebratory. And it's not all that bad, even though we do have to remove ourselves from something that was a promised agreement. But it doesn't seem like there's strife in terms of that. There's a loose square from the sun and moon to Jupiter in Cancer. So anytime there's a square to Jupiter, that is very positive and benevolent. Squares from positive planets are good, even though squares from negative planets are quite challenging. So the square to Jupiter, kind of like giving a T-square there, shows optimism, abundance, opportunity, and generally like uplifted moods and spirits around this full moon. This is a really, really positive alignment there. And unrelated to the full moon itself, Venus in Virgo is on the south node during this. So Venus in Virgo is in its fall. it tends to be rather picky, rather specific, and rather critical, even though Venus usually wants love and harmony. So the South Node, anytime a planet's on it, it represents releasing, letting go, parting ways, or exhaling. So with Venus on the South Node, in Virgo specifically, there's an energy of releasing criticism, understanding all of the strife and all of the nitpickiness and all of the we have towards other people. I know I'm a Virgo, and releasing that, or just letting that go and not focusing or attaching to the criticism that we hold about other people or even ourselves. So even though this full moon is not tying to anything in Virgo, there's a loose energy of trying to get rid of criticism or detaching from strife held towards others. And Mercury is also in a loose conjunction to Mars in Scorpio. Mercury would have just entered Scorpio and be co-present with Mars. So Mercury in Scorpio tends to be very honest, very direct, and very precise with words, maybe even really directly honest. And Mars strengthens that. So having Mars in its home sign for this further shows stability for the full moon. Basically, the moon here is ruled by Mars because the moon's in Aries, and Mars is in its other home sign of Scorpio. So anytime a planet, namely a planetary ruler, is in its home sign, it shows stability for the topic. So there's like a straightforward, cohesive quality to the full moon being constructive. And Mercury conjunct Mars is very assertive, very precise, maybe even inflammatory, but I don't really see that this is a full moon that's going to show inflammatory kind of events. But Mercury is also squaring Pluto in Aquarius, which can show words that are passive aggressive, or they have subtext, or they're underhandedly manipulative or quite intense. So the Mercury communication, it might be loaded, but I don't view it as inflammatory necessarily. So the full moon itself is generally positive, even if we're trying to get rid of criticism, and even if the communication is particularly intense around this time. So overall, this is a pretty positive full moon. It leans more towards celebration or being glad about the ending of something and the conclusion of something than struggling out of a situation. So if you already have any feelings towards this full moon and you know what's coming up for you around this date, let me know in the comments below. And now let's get into what it means for you based on your specific rising sign. So Aries risings, this is in your first house of self. This is all about you, probably celebrating or getting attention, and like people are just noticing you. This is all about you and being recognized for something that you directly have a part in. Taurus risings, this is in your 12th house of mental health. So this probably shows that you are recovered from or have completed a chapter of something that was difficult for your mental health and you're now away from or ready to move on from something that was a mental health difficulty. For Gemini risings, this is in your 11th house of groups, friends, and networking. So this is pretty textbook party celebration or like a wrap party. So it could be something like, I don't know, a work party, a group of people that you are connected to in a community and you all are celebrating the ending or just having an event around something. For Cancer risings, this is in your 10th house of career. So you are likely having something similar, like something is finishing at work, but for you, it's more like a project or something you worked on is now done. It could also show that you're leaving your job, but it doesn't look bad. It looks like the time has completed and you're glad. For Leo risings, this is in your 9th house of foreign travel or higher education. So you could be having the ending of a trip, like you could be traveling outside of the country in a really beautiful experience, and this is like your high point finale of that. It could also show that you are done studying something and you reached the ending and graduated a course or knowledge or something. For Virgo risings, this is in your 8th house of shared finances and investments. So this could show that you are paying off or selling an asset, and that means that you are getting money from that. Could also show that you are releasing a tie to someone else's resources and ending that contract. For Libra risings, this is in your 7th house of contracts, partners, and marriage. So for you all, it could show an ending of some kind of a contract legally with another party. Could also show that a partnership with someone has ended. In some people, it could show a breakup or like a committed relationship has come to a close. But again, this doesn't necessarily look bad. So it could also just be that you guys are like throwing a party together and there's an ending between you two in that regard. For Scorpio risings, this is in your 6th house of physical health and coworkers. So some of you could be having something that ends around physical health, like you are done doing treatment for something, or you are done having to go to the doctor around something and it's fixed. For some of you also, you could be firing or leaving a group of people that are coworkers, and like your time with those people has just basically ended. For Sagittarius risings, this is in your 5th house of creativity and romance. So for a lot of you, you probably finished something creatively and you're now celebrating or putting your work out into the world. For some of you, you could either be ending something that you were like you could be ending a relationship with someone that you were dating casually, or for some people, you could have something like a one-night stand or just like a party. There's a party, there's fun going on, but it's only one night. Then for Capricorn risings, this is in our 4th house of home and family. So it could show either moving and like your time in a certain location has finished and you're now moving locations. I know that's the case for me. I think this might be the last video or second to last. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the rest of the videos for October or September before I move. I move in the middle of September. So this definitely coincides with like firmly being in my new place. For some people, it could also show ending something with family. It could also show like ending renovations. For Aquarius risings, this is in your 3rd house of communication and productivity. So you could have finished writing something and fully tied up something that you were working on that was very productive or communication based. It could also show that your day-to-day routine or the manner in which you used to get by day-to-day with your time has ended and changed. And then for Pisces risings, this is in your 2nd house of income, which can show that you are spending money on something and like finally making a large purchase, or that the way that you were making money has finished and you are now moving on from that manner of making money. So let's pull a tarot card now to see what this full moon represents. So we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. So with Page of Pentacles being communication or the follow through of practical matters, usually this just shows you're distracted or you are wasting time or you're not really like following through on your plans. So just be careful that you're not wasting time under this full moon and that it's not a distraction, because that could be the case, is that you're just like doing something but it's distracting from the larger plan. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this is a fun full moon for you guys. I'm not concerned about this. It's one of the only videos I've done where I'm like, looks pretty cute. So let me know how you're feeling in the comments below and what feelings and thoughts you have about this astrology. Hope that you have a nice full moon, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.